Retro gaming can be tough, especially when you're trying to make footage of it. And Dungeon Siege is a game that I'm trying to record not too long ago and couldn't get it running. But luckily, the Steam community is very helpful and will often post ways to get old games running on modern hardware. So let's look and see what we have. So this is the guide I followed, and the link will be down below, along with other links that I think will be relevant to helping you run the game. So essentially, it just tells you to go into your program files, run compatibility mode, and then it tells you to go into the folder and change some settings on the config file, which is this one right here, the configuration settings right here. And then you just open with and Notepad and add the settings it tells you to right there, and then it actually worked for me. So as you can see, it does run, but it does shrink down the aspect ratio. So on my monitor, it's actually taking up the vast majority of it. There's lines on the top, whereas with you, it'll be in a 4:2 aspect ratio. Unfortunately, there's not really much I can do about that, but it should look relatively decent for recording purposes. At least decent enough. It plays. I'm not gonna say that it looks good. It feels like it's based on. It feels like a lot of old games, and it feels like it's based on FPS, as opposed to you know, not being locked to your FPS. So an important thing to note that Windows in the compatibility mode will say, hey, this might not run properly, but as you can see, it does run well enough. While it lasts the entirety of the game, I don't know. But hopefully you'll have guides down here that you can use to get it to run well enough. If you want to get it running right away, maybe the GOG version will be better, and you don't have to really mess with any settings. So now, the GOG version, essentially it looks on my monitor like it looks in the recording. So it's not blown up, it's not scaled up, which is actually kind of fine. So I know roughly where everything is on how you see it. It still looks pretty good. I did try to change the scale, by copying and pasting the configuration settings I had changed over, and it didn't do anything. So whatever emulator they're using to get this to run, it has trouble reading that part of it, but you know, it hopefully will run pretty well, if not better than the other version. So now we have the GOG version running, and it does look better to me just because it's in its original aspect ratio rather than just completely stretching out and filling the whole screen. It'll look about the same to you, but it also runs significantly better. It feels better to me. It doesn't feel like it's sped up at all, whereas it did on the Steam version. So that's got to be something to do with probably the in-game physics or the in-game engine being linked to FPS, whereas the emulator that the GOG version is using caps it out, so you don't have that problem. Honestly, I think either version are viable options. The GOG version requires less steps to get it running, but the Steam version also works as well, and you'll need to do a few more steps. You'll need to do compatibility, you'll need to do the configuration settings, which is just a few things, and even that you don't fully need to do. You probably just need to set the windowed mode, and then you need to cap the frame rate on your GPU using your GPU, and I'll show you how to do that. If you're running an NVIDIA GPU, you can just right-click on the desktop and then go to the NVIDIA control panel, and then you go to like 3D, and then you go to add game, add the specific game. And this is kind of similar um, on the AMD version. You go to the location of the game. It might only detect one, since I do have it installed twice, but you on the AMD version, you just go into the game, and then you turn off the you turn on the Radeon Chill, and then you set the FPS. So I'm gonna imagine the maximum FPS they're gonna want to be running is probably about 60, but I'm betting it's probably gonna be about 30. So I might need to adjust it. And it's very similar on the NVIDIA side as well. And with that, that is how to get Dungeon Siege working. And honestly, from the brief seconds that I was in it, I think I'm going to have a lot of fun playing this game. And out of the two, would I go with the GOG version? Probably. It takes a little bit less effort than the Steam version, and of course you don't have the DRM. It comes with the emulators and stuff built in, so it's already capping all that stuff. You kind of have to do a little bit less of the work. In the long run, will the GOG version work out better than the Steam? Who knows? Probably, just because the GOG version is probably built to work on 2010 on Windows 10 hardware, so it makes it easier for Windows 11 and Windows 12 whenever that comes out to be able to go back, rather than trying to go back to Windows 7, because Windows 7's really old now. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you did, you know what to do. Like, comment, subscribe. Maybe check out this video right here. Either way, I'll see you there. Bye.